Here's the story of 2020. It was a year for us to live in sync.
So many things that need our understanding. It's time for us to think. It's the story of fellow humans who were busy with lives of their own. But they thought of bringing us together, and we can watch from home. We can all make this world much better. It's about what we're willing to confront. So sit back and enjoy the conversation of these rainbow warriors called the Queer Bunch. The Queer Bunch. The Queer Bunch. It's a great day to watch the Queer Bunch.
Welcome back to the Queer Bunch. We took a hiatus for about a year, but we felt that with all what's happening in the world, we needed to come back. This show started in 2020, and we had 4 seasons. Some of them were shorter seasons, and we were just bored out of our minds when COVID was happening, and we wanted to get together and create a show where we talked about what was happening and all the hot topics and important topics that were going on with the queer community and around us. In this new show, let's say new, we're going to be doing a monthly episode. So we're going to be filming on a Monday. We're going to drop the show on the Monday after. And on the following Monday, we're going to do a TikTok live where we're going to take a look at the episode that we just did and talk with the community and all that sort of stuff. There's some familiar faces that you probably see on the screen if you watched it before, and we got some new hosts. I guess the best place to start is saying hello and getting people to know us. So I'm gonna get going with Kenney, my co-producer, and who's been on the show for a while before we took the hiatus. Hey, Kenney.
Hello.
Hello.
For folks who are watching, I'm Kenney Fitzpatrick. I'm the founder of the Q Creative Network. On socials, it's at the Q Reviews. Why is it called the Q Reviews? Because I didn't know what I was doing with it when I started it, and it just took off, and I said, let's just keep it. And yeah, this is I was on the last season, and I think this is a really great opportunity to bring in some new voices. There's so much happening in the world. The world is banana pants, as we know, and there's so much to talk about. And I think that having the perspective of so many people, different folks from our community is really cool. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you,
And
Kenney.
I'm going to pass it to Nuepa.
Yeah, Nuepa. You've been
Thank
on
you.
the show for one episode before, right? Or two? One.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hi.
yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. No, I like this seat a lot better. It feels a lot more permanent here.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here to get to talk about some of these things because I'm not a huge social media person. I do what I have to, and I see so much going on. So I think this is a really cool way to get into those topics.
I think
Yeah.
it's a good way to be an outlet before we all explode from all what's happening. But what do
Yes.
you do? I did not get that yet.
Oh, yes. So I'm an artist. I make music. I like to perform. I sing. I rap. And I also really love doing design. I like filming for other artists, doing lighting, doing graphic designs, album covers. Yeah, I like to kind of be part of every part of the process.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Hey, hi everybody. So great to be here. My name's Kele Fleming, and I'm a singer-songwriter from Victoria, BC, and I am really thrilled to chat with you all about this banana pants world, as Kenny said.
I love
And you know,
that line. I gotta remember it.
You have to call it something in order to keep your sanity. That's all I will say.
you do,
I'm
you
thinking of
do.
a video for social media where I have banana pants world on the screen,
Exactly.
big letters.
I know, I know, and I'm not as involved in social media as I used to be. I'm kind of stepping back from social media some, but I connected with Kenney first during the pandemic lockdown, I think, over Instagram,
Uh,
Instagram Live or something like that.
okay, cool. And Dana Lee, I've had you on another show, and
Right.
and we follow each other on social media and all that. So, yeah, get going with that with our viewers.
Yeah, so I was very excited to find out that it was you because I was on the couch, I believe it was called,
You were
during the
like,
pandemic. And that was very cool and it was lovely to speak with you there. And I'm so thrilled and I'm excited to be here. I feel honored to be with you guys. I am a queer Christian artist based out of the Ottawa Valley. And my perspective's a little different. I am part of a faith group that is progressive Christianity. But I grew up in an evangelical background. So I come from that, and my view on life has changed so much in the last 10 years. Just discovering that there's a whole other world out there, a different way of being. And I'm a full-time music teacher. I'm a full-time music director at the United Church here. And I'm a singer-songwriter. I wear many hats. I'm going to school to be a licensed lay worship leader right now. So,
Wow.
yeah, and I run a youth group at the church, which I'm going to after this. So there's lots going on, and I am just so happy to be here with you guys.
Beautiful. Just to mention, Nuepa and I'm in Pickering, which is close to Toronto. Nuepa is in Toronto. Kenny is Eastern Canada. Dana Lee is Ottawa. We got Kele from Vancouver. We covered all of all of Canada. Good
And
point.
for anybody who's watching, other than myself, all four of you have brand new music out currently that has like literally either not too long ago or just dropped. So congratulations to you folks for being able to manage to get new music out in this banana pants world.
Thank you.
What was I gonna say? I guess a little bit introduction. So yes, I am an artist. I go by Elhashem. So if you see my last name on the screen, take the EL, separate it, and Hashem, and that's where you'd find me on social media and everything. I'm also lead a queer media organization, publish different magazines and directories and all that sort of stuff. I host this talk show. I've had actually all of you on the talk show, and I've been on Kenny's talk show, so we're all kind of intertwined. And I founded a music festival in Toronto, and I'm working on something for the summer, and a not-for-profit organization to celebrate queer people. So yeah, actually, a quick check-in with the artists. What has been occupying you musically lately? What have you dropped? Dana, Lee.
Well, my music has really done a 180 in the last 5 years, I would say. And more recently, over the last 3 to 4 years, I've been really focusing on social justice as it comes from like a Christian lens and just really stripping it back to like the true meaning of Christianity, which is love and just sharing love and peace and hope for people. And just giving people hope that, life can be so much better if we're just kinder and more loving to one another
I
and
love
just
it.
spreading that message. But for some reason, people who call themselves as Christians don't really get that a whole lot. We're finding that there's a lot of hate going on in the world right now. But yeah, that's what my focus is on. And before I go any further, I just want to say I'm finally sitting down with Kenney right now for the first time. And I want to say thank you for all you do for artists in our community. Like, it's amazing what you do. So thank you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Nobody else is doing that.
For nothing, literally for nothing. He just does it
I
because
know. It's crazy. That's banana pants.
I had Nuepa and Dana, I've talked a bit about this, but I have to have both of you on the podcast because I feel like I'm now collecting artists with the podcast. It's like now I must have my list. But thank you for that. And Dana, thank you. And I will say that, this is my second year being a Juno juror. And I was nominated by Dana to be a juror for the Junos, and after vetting, and It's been an interesting process to kind of go through that. So thank you for that. And it's I like what I do simply because I truly believe that everybody has a story to tell, a voice that should be heard, and especially in our community, there's not a lot of opportunities for people, the queer community to actually be out there and be heard. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it.
Nuepa, you've been working on some new stuff. What have you dropped recently?
Yeah, well, I want to just second that. Thank you so much, Kenny. Just amazing. A lot of what we do would not be possible without the exposure and yeah, everything that you do is amazing. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course. So oh my gosh, I lately I've been collaborating with a lot of artists. So it's actually just been a joy doing stuff for other people,
Uh-huh.
and working together with others it's been really really fun. I have one artist I'll shout out, Seho. He's been a collaborator on a lot of stuff. We had a song together, Swipe, which is super fun. And I got to do the lighting and sort of camera work on his last little visualizer. So it's fun. We're both good at, I guess, switching roles, you could say.
Kelly, latest releases? Have you had anything?
Yeah, I put out a song on Friday, and I'm going
Oh,
to third the applause for Kenny and all he does. It's amazing. I mean,
he's lost.
I didn't even send my song in, and he reshared it. Like
Mm.
he's on top of all of our releases, and I
I
so
advise
appreciated.
usually. He keeps his eye on the on our social medias and reshares things for everyone.
Totally,
I
totally.
I can't. I mean, obviously, I would not be co-producing this with him, and we connected right away when I started with the music 5 years ago. We connected right away, and it's been really beautiful. Um, I will just mention I had an album. It's like Dana. I dropped an album in September called "This Will Make You Feel Good," and just a collection of songs that hopefully will make you feel good after you listen to them in this well, banana. We're gonna incorporate that in this banana pants world. All right. Well, call us crazy, but we what a topic to come back with. So we're gonna take a little break. How about we do that? And we're gonna come back to talk about um, if a lot of us are being pulled towards news lately, especially with what's happening in the U.S. So this is a queer look at what is happening in the USA, and we'll get on it when we get back from the break. And we have a guest from the U.S. joining us as well. So don't go anywhere. Grab yourself a beverage and come back and sit with us while we talk about this episode's topic. And welcome back to the Queer Bunch with all the lovely people on the screen. And we got our guest today, Michael. Hello, Michael.
Hello,
Why don't you
Hashem.
say hello, introduce yourself? You are from Canada but living in the US now.
Yeah, I'm a Toronto native and married a Provo. We met in the apps, and I never thought I'd see him in real life. But after 2 years of chatting, he said, "I'm coming to see you in Toronto." And as soon as he walked out of the customs hall, I was done.
Oh, it was love. Ah. And you moved to the States for him?
I'm here now. Yeah.
That's
I still have my home in Toronto, and I'm going back there next month.
Oh, it's very sweet. Cool. What do you do, Michael?
I'm retired from 40 years government service.
In the government. How awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for your service.
Well, thank you.
Well, welcome to our conversation. I guess maybe um, we'll start with this. Where I mentioned you are in Utah now. Utah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the situation there? What does it feel like day to day?
In Utah itself, Utah is a rather special case because it's predominantly populated by members of the Church of Latter-day Saints
Okay.
who are homophobic by doctrine.
Wow.
So yeah, that's kind of scary. The new head of the church was, when he was president of Brigham Young University here in Provo, oversaw conversion therapy for people who needed the help, if you will. And he's also had some choice things to say, both about gay people and married gay people in particular. So
wow.
that's difficult.
Well, we're good. Good to have you on the show because you're going to bring an excellent perspective. I think maybe for all of us to maybe to get us going is, do we feel what's happening in the U.S. is something new, or
Only other room.
is it
No.
has always existed and is getting louder?
I'd say that the situation got better for a number of years, and it's like a wave. The wave crested, and now it's not as good as it used to be.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Kenny, I know you want to say something.
I'm curious about something, especially because we have 4 music artists that are on this show right now.
I'm a former chorister.
Oh, awesome. Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons having started One Love Live, like the live, I can't remember exactly the name of the festival that he started when he started kind of challenging his own understanding of being brought up in the Mormon church and being kind of indoctrinated that way and started really changing things. I'm wondering, did that have much of an effect on your area that you're in, or just from the church? Did it help? Did it hurt? Did it hinder? Did it do anything?
Well, I live in a very devout portion of Utah. Utah County, which is where Brigham Young University is very devout. It's very conservative. The state capital, Salt Lake City, is actually less than majority Mormon, so it's a bit more diverse, if you will. But that's not where I live. I live in a place where you get stared at if you hold your husband's hand in the street. And if you're introduced at a social function as his husband, blank stares is the least I can expect.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very intense.
It is. Oh, and I don't know if you heard the news, but next door in Colorado, the state had passed a law outlawing conversion therapy.
Okay.
And the Supreme Court of the United States quashed that law because it infringed on lunatics' right to counsel that. And the court said that her free speech rights were infringed by preventing her from counseling conversion therapy.
Here's my feeling. My feeling is diversity and inclusion and good things were happening, and a lot of people were sitting in the background hating all of that and waiting for somebody to give them permission to get loud.
License. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Um,
Yeah, there's some truth in that.
yeah.
Do you think that, and I'm curious because, with Dana being, from a Christian background and having an evangelical background, um, being part of an affirming kind of church, are you seeing, Dana, like stuff happening in the United States kind of creeping over into our world and that kind of questioning about why this is happening, why people are, can't seem to understand that, the Christianity part of it, right, is not as real as it's supposed to be, like in terms of like loving people and being supportive. Is
Right.
it affecting your youth a lot?
So it's funny because in my church, in my youth group, there everybody's very progressive and forward thinking. But my area where we live is 25 years with the same conservative MP, and it's a very conservative riding, I'll say. But my church is very progressive.
So
But
where's that, please?
this is I'm in the Ottawa Valley.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just west of Ottawa. And so
Okay.
this area has been held by the same MP for a very long time. And she's like, I don't know if I should say it, like she's
Okay.
dumb as a stump, right? Like it's like she gets made fun of all the time in national headlines because she just says the most ridiculous things. Like last week, she took a picture of a homeless person and she used it for political fodder, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
like that's not right to
Isn't
do.
isn't she
So
special?
she is. But anyways, back to our church. Our church is very progressive. We're forward thinking. A lot of retired school teachers.
What church is that?
Trinity St. Andrews in Renfrew, Ontario. It's a United Church.
Okay.
But because the area here, it's sort of like very conservative, but there's a lot of traditional ways that are kind of stuck, even though we're very forward thinking. But
Yep.
I still am very familiar with what's going on here in the evangelical churches. And
Yeah.
boy, oh boy, this stuff with Trump has really fired up that community here. And it's almost like it is giving them permission to really, bring about this white Christian nationalism. And I think we
Well,
saw it kind of
yeah.
eroding here during the trucker convoy. That's sort of when it started, and it didn't stay dormant for long. Like it is really, once Trump got back in, like that fired up those people.
Yeah. The the House of Bishops of the Episcopal Church in the United States, which is the sister church to the Anglican Church back home in Canada, has condemned white Christian nationalism as a heresy.
Oh.
So there are voices of reason out there. What really got me going was when Charlie Kirk was shot about 2 kilometers from where I live. He was a white Christian nationalist, and a number of people in my Episcopal church who came out and said, "But there's good Christian nationalism too, I said, "No, there isn't."
The word
No.
national is right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
How is it in the West, Kelly? Are you getting any effects from the US?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I'm on Vancouver Island in Victoria,
Right.
so I'm almost the furthest point west.
Uh-huh.
So we hear about Alberta a lot, and there are, like in the last federal election here, just on Vancouver Island, there were more conservative MPs elected than there had been
Really?
before, and some of them have pretty fringe views. Like they're not conservatives in the way that my parents thought of conservatives, like fiscal
Well, 'cause-
conservatives. They're social conservatives.
Right.
So we are seeing that here.
Because there's no such thing as a progressive conservative party. It's just
Exactly.
just
Doesn't
plain
exist
conservative.
anymore.
Yeah.
Would you travel to the US?
Who, me?
Yeah, would anybody travel to the US right now?
I wouldn't.
Oh,
No,
other.
no.
No.
I can't I can't honestly recommend it. Let's put it that way.
My girlfriend says no. So we're going to Europe next week.
Yeah.
No?
It's one of those things where it's like you see too much happening, and at this point in time, you can't tell how much is true, how much is exaggerated. That it just kind of leaves you thinking that it's just safer just to sit here and not cross the border, because it's just so up in the air. It's a little, especially when I think about artists too going across, and it's so, I mean, so much of the vitality of an artist is being able to play live. We are a big country, but we don't have as many places to play as the United States do. It's also very challenging for Canadians to be able to play in the United States. So if you do get an opportunity, you feel like you have to take it. But now that's even compromised, because you're feeling like, is it okay for me to go? It's hard, I think, for artists to look at the travel at this point.
Yeah, I don't think. I think, given the cult of celebrity that prevails here, that artists coming down for engagements won't be interfered with. But if you're just an average Canadian whose phone is full of non or anti-MAGA content, then I would strongly discourage you from coming.
Nuepa, you've been silent.
Yeah, honestly, I would say I would go back to sort of what Kenny was mentioning about just Canadians in general, but specifically artists feeling more inclined to, I probably shouldn't cross the border, myself included. But I'm kind of worried at the same time, because we are so close to them. We have that cultural proximity where it's like we can sort of stay in our safeness and not cross the border, not do business, not interact as much or purchase things. But I'm kind of worried that that gets us more desensitized to what's happening there, because we're so used to seeing it. But until it just pops up in our backyard, which just isn't to say that it isn't already here. It definitely is. But I'm kind of worried that it teaches us complacency. Not that we really have a better choice.
I hope not. We do need to be vigilant. Speaking of artists, how about the Super Bowl? Well, so I guess
It was a beautiful, beautiful performance.
It was an
do we have
amazing
an
show.
obligation, or obligation as artists to play a role in what's happening?
But
And that Super Bowl showed that yes, an artist could have a fantastic message.
yeah,
Or
I have,
message.
I have, I, I lived in Cuba.
Oh, did you?
Lived
Um, your audio is gone, Michael.
oh, sorry.
There you
There, is that better? Yeah. I said that's why I'm holding things. As I said, I've learned Spanish. I've spoken Spanish since a very young age,
go. Okay.
but I couldn't understand a word he was saying because I'm not used to Puerto Rican Spanish.
That's true. I heard that
But
somebody Spanish on a comment on Facebook said, I loved it, and I'm a Spanish speaking person, but I could not understand a word.
no, but that's sort of beside the point, because music transcends language,
Yeah.
and the music, the dance, it was absolutely fabulous.
I honestly would say if somebody did not understand what he was saying from all the scene that was
Yes.
happening,
Yeah.
and you need a lot of help.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that what's interesting is that you had his performance, then you also had Gaga, you had
Ricky
Ricky
Martin,
Martin,
whom I did
but
not recognize.
you also had Brandy Carlisle and
Yes.
Green Day, who
Yeah.
are queer artists,
The
Billy.
opening acts. Yeah.
But what's interesting is if you looked at some of what was happening around him, like he brought his community, not just paid actors or dancers. Jessica Alba was there, Cardi B was there, you had Pedro Pascal. Like
Yes.
that is some high level names coming
Yeah.
out to support him, but to
Yeah.
also show that kind of inclusion, right? That everybody that was kind of there, it was really cool. I agree. I don't think you needed to understand the
No.
lyrics to know
No.
what was being represented.
No.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Do we have a responsibility? I mean, we're not the artists who will have that responsibility. It's the artists in the U.S. who have to do something, or who would have that responsibility. But yeah, I would say art is a great place to speak up.
Yes.
Yeah. Um,
There's almost and Kelly, I'll throw this to you for a second, because you being somebody who has had political activism in your music as well as environmental activism in your music, that to me was a bit of a display of activism on a stage without it actually having to be put out in such a way that is hitting you over the head as activism. But there was definitely, and I think that, including Brandy, including Green Day, I guess Billy had a few things to say, and the mic was maybe cut at
And don't
times.
forget Kid Rock.
Um,
Yeah, okay.
but like that, would you agree, Kelly? Like that kind of a display is like a bit of a form of activism through music by using that platform to bring those folks together with a lot of that imagery.
yeah.
I don't know that people would know
Absolutely.
that they were members of the community, and I don't think it matters.
Kelly.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that it is an act of activism, and I will apologize. My dogs might bark. That's why I was muted just a second ago.
As long as they don't
But
bite.
yeah, no, they don't. You know what? There was lots of symbolism and metaphor, and like I think all of the details from the costumes and movements, and I mean, we've all talked about the other people who were in the troupe as well. But I think, yeah, there was a lot of symbolism and metaphor, and all of it contributing to an activist stance and a message. And I'm going back to what Dana Lee said right at the start about a message of love and hope, and that hope is not lost, it's created, right? And that, I think, was what I took away from it.
Absolutely. Can you talk to a lot of artists? What are you hearing from artists in the U.S.? I mean, we all talk to also people from the U.S. So let's have everybody kind of chime in on that. But Kenny,
I would say that it's kind of, it depends on where they are.
okay,
And it depends on how much they're feeling things. So like I was on a call yesterday with Los Angeles with Glass Battles, and we talked a little bit about this. And just how it's almost like you're inundated with things that you don't know where to look anymore, because there's so much happening all over the place, and there's so much, it's almost like mayhem, right? But
oh,
it's coordinated mayhem that's kind of happening, that I think for artists it's kind of like, it used to be you'd have there's an incident and artists could get together, work together, band together and do something. But now it's almost like self-preservation, but you don't know where to even start with it because there's just so much. But what we're seeing now is, especially coming out of Hollywood, is a lot of artists in the acting community starting to make these vignettes of what they're feeling and how much they don't like what they're seeing, and that encouraging people to kind of come together. So I think some artists are scared of moving into too many different territories. Some
okay.
are just trying to be as resilient as possible, and some are feeling a little bit like they don't know where to start with things and how to be effective.
Fair enough. I think the mayhem is purposely, like it's on purpose. It's the administration is trying to get everybody so confused and so scared of so many things happening at the same time. And there's a lot been talked about that. With in the media, I've been getting a lot of messages from trans community in the U.S. This is a community that's really living in fear right now, and
Yep.
it's been heartbreaking. I spend a lot of my day replying and trying to soothe things and give them hope.
Yeah.
But
The worst thing about that is from within our own community,
and including from our own community as well.
because many gays feel that, hey, I can marry,
Yeah,
they're okay for me, and they don't care about non-binary people,
absolutely.
and which I find very disheartening.
Yeah, they're looking for their own safety.
Yeah,
Papa Kelly, Dana, do you have any friends in the U.S. that you're talking to?
Um, I mean, I know people in the US. I know people in the US of all political stripes. So it's very interesting when I see different, like I'll say posts on Facebook or social media and just the different lens, right? From one side to the other. But what I will say is, although it does feel hopeless sometimes, we can have hope because if we look back on how far we've come, the world is moving in the right, as a collective, into the right direction. So we have to just keep resisting. We have to keep standing up. And I run a monthly rainbow worship service for queer people at the church once a month. And during Advent, when we wait for the Christ, right? We're waiting for Jesus to come and the birth. And the people of that time, when they had the prophecy that there was somebody going to be coming from heaven to save them, they didn't know how long, but at that time, that's what the prophecies were. They were waiting, right? And so
yes,
when they were waiting for Emmanuel, they didn't know how long they were going to have to wait for, but they knew that something was coming. And that didn't stop their hope. They waited with hope, and they didn't. And so hope is actually active. We have to be active in our hope. We
yeah,
can't stop. We don't just sit on our hands. We have to keep fighting for our rights, no matter
yes.
what, because we are pushing in that direction. We have to just keep pushing. We're not going to go back. We are just going to keep pushing.
Ooh, I wouldn't say we're not going to go back. I'd say as hard as we're pushing, there are other people pushing back. So yes, by all means, but by all means, keep pushing.
Yeah.
But don't underestimate the dark forces on the other side.
We can.
Right. And I'll just add one more thing to that. Those people that I'm talking about that were waiting, they didn't know if it was ever going to happen in their lifetime.
Exactly.
And so, but that didn't stop them from
No.
resisting and pushing forward. So, you know what? We may never see we might not see the rights that people deserve right now, but
It'll happen.
we have to keep pushing for it.
Yeah.
Like, we have to keep pushing that pendulum the other direction.
And
Yeah.
honestly, that's what I answer for those messages that I get on social media from community. I just say we've done it before. Remember where we were in the 50s and 60s and before that, and we've done it, and we're gonna do it again because that's the human nature. Is we don't let we fight back.
I think
Yeah.
it's hard to watch, and I think some of us have more privilege than others, and we're in positions in different positions. But when you watch others who are less fortunate or who don't have as much, say, privilege, the fear that comes over them and how much that stops them, that they just it's to speak to Dana's point in terms of like, it takes, I think, the rest of us around those people to help instill the hope in them and to help kind of lift them up a bit, because they are feeling so much anxiety that it takes the rest of us within the community to kind of look after them, I guess, look over them and be like, realize that they're in a real scary situation where they're feeling so fearful that the rest of us have to make sure that we're helping even more, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yes, very much makes sense. Nuepa.
Yep. And well, I was going to say definitely, like, specifically towards like the constant hope. I also, the phrase that brings to mind for me is rest as resistance. Because the act of resting and taking care of yourself, taking that time to make sure everything's okay internally, can be radical resistance, especially because I'll just say, I speak to people in the US all the time. I have many friends there, I have many friends who are artists there, and many of them are feeling just terrible depression every day, everything. sort of seems hopeless. Everything becomes through a certain lens. It's not even just the threat is in front of me. It's the threat of the threat in every sort of aspect. And it's like policy, healthcare, access to medication, becoming
Yeah.
more mentally ill because of the stress they're surrounded by. So it's definitely I think it's definitely a balance, but I always try and give grace to people. And honestly, a lot of the times people just want somebody to listen,
Yeah.
I
I
think.
really, really love what you just said. If anybody watching from the US, taking care of yourself and protecting yourself is a form of activism too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Kelly.
Yeah, I love what Nuepa just said about rest is resistance and self-care is resistance, and it's so important uh, in these times, these banana crazy world. You
Yeah.
know, um, I I think hearing from friends and other musicians in other parts of the world, including the U.S., yeah, people are feeling anxious and stressed, and uh, another side to that I'm hearing from people is that they're wanting to be less exposed to the mayhem of the media and social media, and they want to have more real time conversations, which I think is why something like this is powerful too, right? It brings together uh, some diverse voices for people to hear and to hear different perspectives in different parts of Canada and the U.S. with Michael. But I'm feeling and hearing and sensing and catching a vibe out there in the world that people want to connect in real ways that aren't manipulated by an algorithm or manipulated by the shock and awe of what's being rolled out by the Trump administration.
Yeah.
We're going to probably do an episode on that specific topic because there's a lot of research about even younger people are starting to unplug and
Yeah.
yeah, there's the, so yeah, we'll find some more of that and we will probably hit that topic at some point. Um,
What's
I
interesting is watching the Olympics now, even though they've just started, we are seeing, American athletes who are coming out and who are speaking out about, feeling like that it's so weird for them to be representing the country, but don't represent everything that's happening in the country
They're
and trying to
losers.
make
They're
that
losers.
definition that, of things. And that's it's, I find it interesting because usually you wouldn't see an athlete at the Olympics talk about that, but they're using their platform and their opportunity to speak to it.
I I mean to the US if um that's what they have to do. Everybody has to do their part, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and that nuance is important. I will say the fact that they went there representing this country, but they made the distinction is incredibly important because a lot of the time we live in a world of headlines, and headlines are almost never accurate. They are worse than the cover of a book. So it is what most people judge things based off. So when people see that and there's some nuance attached to it, it's nice because like media literacy is not something, at least when I was in school, that was readily taught. So a lot of us are born into this media nowadays. Not me, but kids
yeah,
nowadays.
we want to we anything else in the US we want to touch on before we take a break and start wrapping up this episode? This chat, Kenny? We're
I
good?
just think that if I would say one thing is that we can't paint everyone with the same brush and realize that there's some folks out there that need support across the border, and however we do that on, whether it's socials or whether it's just in our DMs and supporting people, is to remember that, we have friends and allies there and who are just as freaked out by things that are happening, and that we can use ourselves and use our empathy to support them.
Thank you. And with that, let's take a short break, everyone, and we'll be right back with the Queer Bunch.
We can make something last forever, sharing the stories for better.
يا غريب كنت زيك في يوم الخوف ما يغلب القلب يدوم.
Tell the stranger their relief is near. Tell the stranger that dawn is here.
And welcome back to the Queer Bunch. Wow, that was a big topic, and we could have gone on for days talking about what's happening in the U.S. I tried not to bring up some of the more dramatic things that has happened in the news in the last few weeks with ICE and all that sort of stuff, but I think we hit the main points. How are we feeling about after this conversation, Kenny?
I think it's a big conversation, and I think that it's not one that can be easily wrapped up in this, but I think it's the start.
We solved everything. Wouldn't that be lovely? What do we want queer people watching this to remember in the U.S. and in Canada? Michael, actually, yeah. What speak from being there? What would you want the community there to know from you being there?
Well, I think it's important for you to find a place of refuge. For me, I'm lucky. The local Episcopal Church has a queer priest, and the diocesan bishop of Utah is actually lesbian.
Oh, cool.
So if it weren't for that, I would feel a lot more uncomfortable here than I already do.
Yes, stay safe, Michael. Good. I'm glad to hear that you've done that.
And my advice is that if everyone looks, they will find a similar place. But it may require more effort in certain parts of America, but there are places of calm, of refuge and sanctuary if you look for them.
House, jump in. Dana.
I think I don't know what it's like for people. Like, I can imagine what it's like and I can have empathy, but I really like waking up every single day and really being in fear that your human rights are going to be stripped away or are being stripped away. I mean, I think it's hard for me to fathom because of how lucky we are here right now in Canada. But if I was to, just as a whole for our community, not just specifically, if I was to say anything, I would say, you know what? You can't erase queer people. We've been here since the beginning of time. We're not going anywhere. So, they may try to take our lives from us, but I know that we're going to be okay as a community because we always band together. We're always the ones standing up for other people's human rights, our own human rights, and we're not going anywhere. So, I think that if we want to have some hope, just know that they can't extinguish us.
Right. On that, if I meant to ask, at the recent conservative leadership review, one of the policies on the floor of the convention was the decriminalization of conversion therapy. I assume that wasn't approved, but I hadn't heard. I don't know if anybody's heard or not.
I don't know anything about that. Who
I
knows?
didn't hear that, but that would be very scary for me.
Yes.
I had to go, when I was in Bible college in Alberta in the early 2000s, I was put through that for a very short spell. So when I hear that kind of stuff, that just makes my skin crawl because we've come so far, but we just have to keep pushing, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
But I only raise it because even in Canada, there are still threats.
Oh God, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. And Nuepa, wrapping up.
Yeah. One thing I would hope that all queer people take away is just take good care of your neighbors. Recognize who your family is, biological and logical family. And community is always there. That we're always there, and just connect with people.
Okay. Kele.
Yeah, I was thinking a similar thing, just how important community is, and to nurture and support one another, and really reach out to community and lean on those close to you and look out for them.
And my co-producer.
Yeah, I mean, echoing what everybody's saying, I think that there is friendship in areas that you probably aren't necessarily thinking of,
Yep.
and to take a chance on some of those folks, and folks like ourselves to reach out, or if you kind of see us. I think that just realizing that we are, even though we may be in different countries, we are part of the same community, and we see things similarly. But if there's ways for us to kind of support throughout different things, that to reach out, and yeah, I think we make ourselves available as much as possible. It's a crazy, it's a banana pants world that we live in, as I like to keep saying. But it's it doesn't get better unless we all help each other get into the boat together. Do you know what I mean?
And there's always hope, as Dana said. Um, I'll say, even if it feels lonely and you're alone, you're not, because look at this. We love you. We're thinking about you. We think about you. We actually worry about our community in the U.S. and so it's not, you're not on your own. The rest of the world is watching and support. I wish we can do more, but we can be here for you to lean on if you need to as community. So I hope you enjoyed the coming back episode of the Queer Bunch. Thank you, Michael, for being with us. We really appreciate your presence here.
I'm sorry I didn't have much to contribute to the music side, but I very much enjoyed meeting you all. Thank you.
It's all right. So after you watch this episode, we're going to be on TikTok on the Pink Pages directory page. Kenny, do you remember the date?
I believe it is the
What's the
gosh. I think it's the 23rd. Is that
It's
right?
the 25th, no?
2 weeks hence.
I think it's the 23rd. 23rd or 25th.
Maybe. All right. Well, we'll be announcing the hell out of it on social media, so don't worry. And otherwise, we will see you back here on the Queer Bunch next month. And thank you, hosts. Nice to have you on. Nice to be here with you. And take care.